Hey there, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is. And if you're watching the recording, hello future people. My name is Jeff Fritz. Welcome back to my live stream. Today is October 18th, 2018. We're going to write a little bit of code today. I switched up my hat. I'm wearing, what is this? This is the Ford Mustang hat? Yeah, that's it. Hey, Kev Griffin, good to see you. I want to say hello to all of our folks who showed up in the chat room early today. Good morning, Molly and Turrican, McNerdius, Poetic Android. Good to see you. Hello, I appreciate the wave with the globe there. Hello. Shy Sharp is here. Robert Tables, little Bobby Tables made it. Hello, hello. G.A. Progman, Welsh Ronaldo, Boss Uprising. Inyaya Vinaya Gotcha. Wow, I'm going to need some help on that one, Boss Uprising. Wheelchair Sean, hello, hello. EA, is that EA Johnson 1? Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. I've got a cup of pumpkin spice coffee this morning. Enjoying that one. EA Johnson. Now, EA Johnson, is that like EA Sports, or I'm just trying to get the reference, if there is a reference. Let's get some music playing here in the background. I'm just wearing the Ford hat because I think it looks kind of cool. Where do we want to go? Let's play some music to code by today. I played that Halloween music on it was actually a cover of the Halloween theme on Tuesday. YouTube didn't like that too much. Copyrighted music, even though it's somebody else performing it. Nope. All right. Let's see. Pumpkin Spice G Fuel. That's a neat idea, Robert Tables. Neat idea. This is a song that was originally called Gold. There we go. I think this is pretty cool to have in the background. I don't think that's too overpowering. Let me know. All right. Hey, Mark. Good to see you from Berlin, Germany. Oh, my gosh. Good afternoon. Hey, Mr. Magoo. I've got to compliment Mr. Magoo here. Oh, my gosh. Mr. Magoo, sequel Mr. Magoo, has been doing a little bit of tinkering, a little bit of exploring here. And I was thrilled to see your post on Twitter. Let me see if I can... that's not going to be an easy way to do it because I'm not logged into Twitter over here. Let's see if I can bring this up real quick. I was thrilled to see this post from you on Twitter. Come on now. Where'd it go? I know I've got you here. Let's see. No. Maybe it's under my likes. Be the easy way to find it. Sequel Mr. Magoo has been doing a little bit of work with Blazer. And this was really cool to see because he put together Tetris with Blazer. So WebAssembly running in the browser. Here it is. Let me open this up. And let's go to this view. There we go. You know what? That's even a little bit hard to see. Let's go right on over to this. Check this out. Zero JavaScript, just C#, CSS, and WebAssembly. What do you mean no green screen? Yeah, we got green screen. We are all green screen. Blazor-based Tetris. Check that out. Right? So this is an experiment, and I love seeing this. Out of Fritz exception. Nice. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. I'm not sure if that's somebody duping. But this is insane. I'm not sure why I'm getting a little bit of slowness coming off the stream deck there. I'm wondering if I've got too much running here. Let's close down some things in the background. So I clicked through and I was playing, right? This is Tetris in the browser, all C#. And I love that you shared all the source code to this. This is really great, sequel, Mr. Magoo. A bunch of different experiments out here, and I sent along the link to the folks on the ASPNET team, to the folks on the Blazer team. They thought this was really neat, that what you've put together here. So I went down into Tetris, and there is, where is it? Where is it actually working here? I thought there was a link to, here it is. And you can actually see it running, right? This is a GitHub IO page, and you can start playing Tetris in the browser, and it's all written with C#. This is so cool. I was thrilled to see this. You know, tremendous innovation. I wanted to just take a second here and celebrate SQL Mr. Magoo with a tremendous effort to go out and write a little sample here, showing off the new technology. So, for you, Mr. Magoo, well done. Very well done. Awesome stuff there. It is, Wisem is very dope. So make sure you check that out. I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to post the link to your Blazer test here in the chat room so that folks can get to this. Only a few hours of code. Ship Blazer, ship it. Yes, maybe we shall. Hey, James Montemagno is here. Hello, hello. And Jay Progman from Leeds in the UK. Fantastic. Your current project is heavily based on WebAssembly. So, in case you haven't seen WebAssembly, if you don't know what WebAssembly is, it's a way for you to write code and compile it down to assembly, just like you do on your desktop or on some other machine, but it'll run in the browser. You can send that down, and you don't have to have any kind of JavaScript knowledge. You don't have to make server-side calls. It runs inside the browser sandbox, that same level of security. Good morning, James. Thanks so much for that kind cheer. Of course, we'll make a donation to Girl Develop It. Thanks so much. Blazer has not shipped. Blazer is still a bit experimental. There are some server-side features that we're gonna do with Blazer, particularly around Razor components, that will ship as part of the .NET Core 3 series. You'll see that. You will see that shipped in early 2019. Bridge.net, an open source C# to JavaScript compiler. Well, that's cool. I wonder how Blazer with WebGL would compare to Bridge.net. So Vassalware, right? Blazer is compiling down to WebAssembly, so you end up having to deliver those DLLs. But you end up with that same experience that folks with Node.js really like, where they have the same language they're building on the server that they have in the client. And that's something that we really like when we write client-server-based apps. So I encourage you to check that out. It's an experiment. Blazer is pretty interesting for folks that do want to write C# and have those Razor files they're used to in MVC accessible and working both in the browser and on the server. So I gotta, I want to, since James is here, I want to wander over to Twitch, and I want to make sure that I call out. Let me see if I can navigate right to this. So I have on the events page here, I have next Wednesday, we're going to be doing, there it is, Undead Coding with Fritz. It's not going to be that spooky, but it'll be fun. I've got some giveaways. I've got some prizes that we will send out to you if you're here. You want to participate. It'll be a normally scheduled show, but we're gonna look at some monstrous bugs. We're going to have some. Like I said, I've got a couple giveaways that we're going to do. I'm rounding up a couple sponsors to give us a couple of things. You know, nothing. We're not going to be giving away a car. We've got a couple of small items that I think you'll have some fun participating with on that day. So that'll be Wednesday, the 31st. But James and I were talking. I had the Xamarin event on here. We got to talking, and we started looking at, well, what assets do we have? Can we pull off a Xamarin workshop? And we're going to put it back on the schedule. We're looking at November 2nd. We've got a simple app we're going to show you how to build. And we're going to show you how to hook it up to cloud service. We prefer Azure, so we'll show you how to hook that up to Azure. And then how to use App Center to be able to deploy and test. So I want to thank James for kind of swooping in and saving the day on that content. I'll have it posted back up here as soon as we confirm some of those final details. Absolutely. Make sure you give James a follow. Click through, and he's running shows on Fridays and Saturdays, talking about and walking through some Xamarin stuff. If you're more comfortable working with Xamarin, if you enjoy building mobile apps, make sure you check out his stream. Really great stuff. Yes, Ancient Coder, we're going to do Xamarin for beginners. So that'll be co-hosted over on the Visual Studio stream. I'm sure James will host over on his stream, and we'll have a good time on that afternoon. We're looking at November 2nd. All right. Keep that coffee flowing. Here we go. Let's see, what else do we have? So we are at 3986, almost at 4,000 followers. Oh my gosh. It would be terrific to hit that today. But I don't know. Tell your friends, tell your families, tell your pets, tell your coworkers. Go get a Twitch account, sign up. You can watch fun streams like mine, like James. Kevin Griffin's here. He's got a great set of streams that he's doing in the middle of the afternoon, Eastern time, talking about all kinds of different topics, showing you how to write code. And Kevin, are you still hosting your user group on your stream? Because you can tune in and you can watch the user group. There you go. So Kevin's user group in Virginia. If you subscribe to, if you follow Kevin, you'll get notifications when his user group goes live, and you'll be able to participate in those discussions also. You can learn from folks in Virginia, wherever you might be. Really great stuff. Twitch followers turning into a multi-level marketing scheme. Yes, indeed. Twitch does that on their own. They want you to reach a certain number, and they want to see continued growth. If I'm here, well, yeah, sure. Kevin does have an interesting stream. Absolutely. Broadcasting from the shed quarters, right? Do I have that right? The shed quarters? Really, really great setup that Kevin has there. All right. The screen's gone black. So I ran into a problem yesterday. I was talking to our friend Brady Gaster. First off, funny guy that he is, he goes and opens this pull request. Format your code. What? Check this out. He goes and he puts together a pull request with one changed line.
Oh my.
He didn't like the else if on the same line as the closing brace. I know. What is that? Striving for that t-shirt. Yeah, right? He works for us, so he doesn't get a t-shirt. He gets a... Reject it. I agree. We've decided to reject this pull request because you haven't opened an issue first and you lack the technical merit to and you style code like a savage. No, that's fine. This is whatever. Sure. Merge that. And I won't give him a nice response. But I'm absolutely going to cut up our friend Brady there. Hey, Alfonso. Is that Alfonso Vegas or Vegas? Also, you smell. Now, that's just rude, Poetic Android. Watch it break the build now. No, actually, so it didn't break the build. But we did run into an issue. I have a couple issues out here that we do need to address because I was walking through the code, walking through some of the samples with Brady. So Brady is our program manager now for SignalR, right? And SignalR is that real-time interaction that we get where on the server, we can call down and send commands, send data to our clients, whether that client's in a web browser, whether it's in an application or even a mobile app. You can issue commands to the client side. So what we're working on with Brady, what we'd like to do is to be able to show you, perhaps if you're looking at the home page, to be able to show you maybe right here in this area, a little status message that says, currently being modified by Jeff, right? So you can see that there's an update coming, and maybe you want to press refresh to get the new data as it's updated. Hey, Atomic J, I appreciate the follow. Alfonso is Alfonso is okay, not a problem. So Serious now suggests a CoreWiki Blazer client. I think that's a wonderful idea. I like it. If you want to open an issue to talk about that, we can absolutely look into that. It feels like an interesting and neat front end extension. Hey, Atomic J. Hello. At least Fixed Point asks, why not just plain old WebSockets? SignalR feels like overkill to me. Good question. Let me just unpack that a little bit, and then we'll move on to what we found. SignalR is an abstraction over that two-way communication. Hey, Crows 4K, thanks so much for subscribing. I really appreciate that, and we'll match that and make a donation to Girl Develop It. They help teach women and underserved minorities how to write code, just like we're doing here. So, SignalR isn't heavy. Well, it's not heavy, but it's an abstraction over that two-way communication. So, if the client doesn't support WebSockets, if the client only supports long polling, if it only supports server-sent events, right? SignalR will negotiate, figure out that appropriate protocol, that communication method, and do that interaction, which also means it's future-proof. So, WebSockets is the communication method that we prefer here in 2018. But if we get into 2019, 2020, and you know what, there's WebZoom, WebZippy, Web pneumatic tubes. I don't know, because the internet is a series of tubes. I learned that. It doesn't matter. You can continue using SignalR, and the SignalR protocols will get updated, and you'll be able to continue using your same protocol and your same interactions, and SignalR will use WebZippy or whatever the new thing is when it becomes available. 28, yeah, in that year, way out there. So, my subs get canceled. You know what? I saw that also, Crows. I got to interview with Jonathan J. Tower. Yes, Jay's a great friend. Absolutely. But subs do expire. They only go on for 1 month. So let's see here. Forgot what day it was. Was not around from an overhead perspective. Gotta run to a meeting. Catch you later, Kevin. Good to see you. I get all that. I just get that WCF itch every time I see it. Oh, did I mess up my category? You changed. So we were in programming before. Yes, Frank, you're right. We should be in. So they changed the categories. There is now science and technology is where we are, and we should have some tags like software development, web development. I'm going to put educational on there. I didn't add these. Oh my gosh. I'm going to put AMA on here also because I am very open to answering all of your questions. But we did change Twitch category. Twitch removed the programming category. They removed a lot of the in real life categories, the creative category. Is Fierce Kittens here? She likes to complain about how the creative category was removed because she was a significant creative category streamer, and they wanted her to move into hobbies and crafts. Oh my! That didn't sit too well. because she's more, right? She does sewing, she does some other neat things, and more than just hobbies and crafts. So she labels herself now as art.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. So they moved us around a little bit. That's fine. So that's what we're doing now. They shuffled us around a little bit. It's not a problem to ramble, Brave Cobra. Absolutely. All right. It used to all just be creative, and now we're broken up a little bit more. I think it's a little bit clearer what we're doing here by being in science and technology, and not creative or just programming. It gives you a little bit more definition as to what we're doing. Tell you when to stop. I can get carried away. Not a problem. We're learning together, and as long as we're respectful of each other, we're good. And that goes for everybody. Respect is a two-way street, right? We can all make decisions for ourselves. We can make recommendations to others, but nobody has to accept those recommendations. So, all right. So I was showing Brady CoreWiki here, and what I wanted to do was I wanted to put together a link to a new page. So let me edit this page. And the first problem that I ran into is, right, I wanted to write something like, here is a page that talks about SignalR, right? Now, if I want to make that a link, and I click the link button, it starts formatting it with HTTPS here for the link that it's going to generate. But if I want to make this a wiki page called, right, SignalR page, and I click save, it kind of blows up here in front of me. And the concept of a wiki and the concept of wiki text is something important to how this functions, right? This is like a core piece of functionality. Before we talk about configuring or architecture or how we write things to the database or how we theming or Bootstrap or JavaScript, this is like functionality #1 after being able to read and write articles to the database. So now when I go back to this, I have this link that tries to go to SignalR page, and when I click that, I get page not found. It is appropriately trying to go here, but I've got two issues there that I want to address, and I want to talk through here with you in the chat room, because you're my pair programmers. I think of you as stakeholders in how we're building the project here. I want to get your opinion so that we can build a better application together. So, looking at this, when I clicked edit, the first problem that I have is the link button here starts off putting that HTTPS on it. I'm not sure if we should have a link button in the toolbar, or if we should do like Wikipedia does, and it just kind of detects wiki text. Or if we do use the link button, maybe we remove HTTPS://, and maybe we start with something that says like wiki, your insert wiki page name here, or something like that. What do you think, chat room? Let me know what you think the link should look like, because that doesn't feel right. And then the second piece was when I clicked save, I get routed to this page not found. Now, I had completed some work on the URL helpers, right? We went through, we worked with the URL helpers to try to remove and simplify that a little bit. In Brave Cobra, it's not perfect, but I think we're moving in a better direction there. And we can take a further look at that later offline. I don't see that re-architecting as something that's something we need to spend a lot of time on here on stream. If we can come to a good solution in a pull request discussion later and then summarize on stream, I think we're in a good place. No, I'm not seeking your approval. I want to have a good discussion with you about it, to let you know that we put this in. I know you had a vested interest in it, and you were concerned. You had some questions. Let's make sure that we have that right. Yes, we're going to get that right. So, but another thing that I was looking at and that I think I broke, and why this isn't working, check this out. The create article from link doesn't have a link that it's passing in. One of the ones that we had here, and I'm going to close this from argtang, was that we repeatedly have the wiki/slug entry. And argtang put together a helper just to do that formatting for the URL. Well, this is something that we actually should be able to do with routing by using redirect to page result and then specifying the name of the page and then our arguments for that route that we're navigating to. So I'm going to actually decline this. We're going to use a routing-based solution instead. But thanks for picking up on this unnecessary string formatting. All right, so I'm going to decline that. Now, I think I just put it together a little. I made a mistake in how I configured the route. Hey, Mr. Demon Wolf, good to see you. So this was at the end of edit. I think I'm not routing properly to the next page, and I want to talk about that, and then we can come back and right. Let's make sure that that route works, and then let's talk about our link button, and let's get that working. Am I using Hyper-V VM for Ubuntu? Yes, I am. That's correct. So far, so good. All right, so that is in. Let me close some of these pages. Let's just close everything. And I'm going to jump. I'm using, of course, we're in Ubuntu Linux this month because we're in Ubuntober. I'm using Visual Studio Code today. And I've already got some code compiling and running with a .NET Watch command in the background. Let's take a look at that edit page that we were on. Now, regarding Ubuntober and working here in Ubuntu, what I hope you're seeing is that my working practice, right? How I'm going through, how I'm writing code, how I'm interacting with .NET Core has been pretty much the same as when I'm on Windows. So, right, we've got a great experience between both environments, and I'm actually pretty happy with it. Maybe if we twist my arm a little bit, I'll use VI a little bit later. Where was I? I thought I just heard. Did I hear my phone go off? No. All right, good. So at the edit page, when the edit gets posted back on post async, so here we are at the end, right? So I changed this from a reformat to redirect to page, and we're going to redirect back to the details view, right? This is a wiki. I've edited the page in the wiki. I'm going to go back to the read-only view and show you here's what it looks like. So I'm redirecting to the page details, and I'm passing in the name of my slug, right? The slug is the URL-friendly interpretation of the topic for it. So I'm trying to get into details, and I'm trying to pass in the slug. And if I look at details here, on get, and it receives a slug being passed in. So something's not happening where it's formatting that route properly. And that feels bad. That feels weird. So let me, come here. Yeah, let me keep that open. I'm going to keep the edit page open as well. And I want to go to the route configuration and make sure that we're figuring this out properly. So I have right here, configure routing. So here's my details route, right? So it should be going to wiki/. Now I'm wondering if that capital S in slug is what's tripping me up. And if that's the case, oh, I'm going to be so angry. But it could be because C# is case sensitive. So I'm going to make that change, save, and let me show you back here. It's doing the recompile all by itself. And restarting for me. Come on, restart. Yes. Come on. Launch settings, there we go. And it's running. So now if I come back here, let me go back to the home page. There we go. I'm going to click edit. Let's add some more content in here. More content. Save. And it still didn't generate that create article from link properly. Maybe show off Rider for Visual Studio users that might feel a bit more familiar. Maybe we can do that. The face. I think you mean the fact you can run .NET Core on Linux is really cool. It is. You can make a .NET Core app running SQL Server very easily. Yes, SQL Server does run inside of a Docker container. Let me show you that real quick. I don't have it running here on my Linux install, just because I'm running inside of a VM, and it would get a little bit crazy. Where is it? Is it MS SQL? Ah, there it is. So you can have it. You can have SQL Server running inside of a Docker container. We're moving to mcrmicrosoft.com, where you can pull SQL 2017 on Linux containers as well as SQL Server 2019 preview containers. Okay, whatever. Be nice if that was a link, fellas. Come on, team. Let's make this easy for folks to jump through. But the point is, you can install and get SQL Server running. Getting off the connector, heading into the office. Have a good one, James. Good to see you. Docker is amazing. Can I show the .NET Watch command again? Absolutely. Let me just tilt over there. I'm going to stop this. So if you run .NET Watch, and then you can specify another verb after that, run or maybe test. I'm going to execute .NET Watch run. And anytime there's a change to one of my C# files or to my project file, the .NET command line interface will stop the current process and rebuild and rerun and bring me back to this this state. That's what I'm looking for. I'm no MS Homer, but I hope .NET Core takes over Java or Oracle. Dino, it'd be nice if .NET Core did take a lead over Java. Absolutely. I get an F in typing. What? Come on now, President. Oh, you get an F in typing. I kind of like that. Sanad Meskin asks, I'd like to ask one question. I've seen in many places in code that you're comparing slug to homepage slug, and I'm asking why. I want to understand that part. Let me see. So, particularly looking for something like here. Because I don't want you to navigate to /homepage. I want you to go to / as a requested location. This way, when we output cache, when we start doing output caching runs based on the URL that's requested. So we'll get, instead of caching 2 copies of the same page, we'll end up with 1 copy that's just reused a lot. So that's what I'm trying to do there. It's a little bit of premature optimization. I've been running SQL Server in a Docker container for a while. Oh, that's awesome, GA Progman. Glad to hear it. Still want to run Windows containers on a Linux Docker host. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit further out, if at all. There's a licensing question that happens there. If you're into or interested in Docker, yes, Jesse Frizzell is the person to talk to about that. I'm actually working on trying to get Jessie, trying to get her on a stream. We'll see what happens there. I use that SQL Server for pretty basic stuff in Ubuntu. Works great under load. Yeah, that's great to hear. Jessie's GitHub repo, her Docker files, she's got some amazing stuff over there. iPad typing is hard. Hey, good morning, Monster Llama. There's the nick of the day. There we go. Let's see here. Is it possible to add page with home-page slug or just permanent redirect to slash? You know what? There's a couple things around that I think we need to also put some bug fixes around. We don't want people to rename the homepage. We don't want people to rename other pages to homepage. And I think we already have a block on that. Brave Cobra, did MS really release 60,000 patents to protect Linux? Sure did. Yep. I saw the article view count increases per refresh. Isn't that cheating? Let me just show you that real quick before we go back to trying to figure out our issue here. Inside of details, in the on-get, there is manage view count. We actually write out a little cookie, and that cookie that we write lives for 5 minutes. So the first time that you come to the page, you get the cookie, and I was just looking at an error that was thrown. You get the cookie, and it's good for 5 minutes. If you come back and refresh the page again, 6-7 minutes later, gets ignored. You'll get hit with another view. That should be part of the backend. Don't try covering that logic in the user interface. As far as renaming and the blocking the name, yes, that should be in the application, is where that should be managed, not in the web user interface. Regarding what names you can make an article. Yes. All right. What's this? Here we go. All right. So let me go back to that problem that we're having here with the edit, right? So I'm trying to say at the end of my edit, redirect a page. Well, no. There it is, right there. Look, I can see it. Redirect to page details, slug equals this. But when I'm doing create article from link, I'm passing where ID equals article.slug. Let me look at the routing. I don't have a page link that is reformatted like that. If I look at the page, create article from link, let's look at that. So there's the page. And if I go to this, there we go. It's a string ID that it's receiving. It should receive that, right? PC just hit 100% CPU and task manager wasn't showing which process. Oh, nice. So I'm trying to figure out here, it feels like I'm not receiving that ID properly. Right, if I do something like this, right? I have to put that in quotes, don't I? Right, because if I look at details, let's use details. Right, I've got page and then I've got slug with a question mark is what's being passed in. So if I come back over to... Well, that looks weird. That's an extra thing there that shouldn't be. All right. Let's see. So my edit... Right? I'm not sure why I'm getting a... Can I convert from int to string? We should be okay here. Because I've changed... wait a sec. So one of the things that I was changing... sysinternals is overpowered. Nice. Yeah, here we go. This is returning an I request. I changed this so I can get the slug back from the application, the created slug, so I'm not calculating it out on the web. So when I receive that I request, right? So this is taking in an article ID. right? So it's taking in an article ID, and then this should be returning. The list of slugs should be, it's not a string, but it's a string, it's a value tuple that has a string and a collection of strings. So this is working, it's just not parsing and processing properly. Yes, I completely agree. The default process monitor in Windows is underpowered. It's missing a lot of features. That's why a lot of folks will download the sysinternals one and replace it, so that you get the sysinternals features instead of the Windows features. So this looks like it should be running properly, so that list of slugs should be outputted. Now, when it's going to say get articles to create from article query, let's take a look at this. This is getting routed to a handler here, which calls article reading service get articles to create. So this is a service. Right, article reading service. Right, which is an iArticle management. So I'm looking for the article management service. No, Control P. Article management service. Let me make sure it's actually returning those slugs to look at. So inside of here, right, we are doing get articles to create. So get articles by slug is null or white space. Find wiki article links. So if the regex matches content article links pattern, select. Now article links pattern, round and round we go, is up here. So this is basically looking for markdown flavored links. Where's the GitHub repo? Yeah. Love the new tuple syntax. I do too. LNG grinds. Real easy to work with. So this is looking for and should find on my homepage the two tuples. I'm sorry, the two links that are in there. So what I want to do, I'm going to write out to the logger here because I can. Right, I'm going to receive a logger here so that I can inspect and take a look around here. So I'm going to receive an iLogger factory. And let's put that into a logger. No, let's just say logger equals logger factory. No. I'm going to want to create logger. Let's do a control dot on this. So I get my using statement. Yeah, create logger. And then I have to give it a name, don't I? Yeah, here we go. And I'll call this edit page as the name of my logger. I'm going to control dot on this and let it create, have it create a read-only field for the logger. There we go. Now if I scroll down to my post, I should be able to, right here. So let's say logger.log. Let's do a log warning so it pops out a little bit. I'll use dollar quotes. That gives me string interpolation capabilities in C#. So I can do things like say, found the following links to create. And then I can use curly braces and it'll jump to C# there. So I can say array dot, I want to do an array, no, string dot join, right? There we go. And I'll use commas, and the list that we want to pass is going to be list of slugs dot item 2, right? Because that second object coming back from this is an array of strings. So that should, yeah, I'm not sure why I'm getting the red underlines there. I had a problem that I wanted to solve one time with a regex. Then I had two problems. Oh, no, no. I'm only doing information warning so that it pops out and I get the extra coloring inside the terminal. Right? I'll be able to pick it out because it'll have that warn element next to it. The page directive is malformed. Please fix the following. Expects a string surrounded by... Yeah, I already fixed that. Right? Where'd it go? Create article from link here. Yeah, we fixed that already. All right. So let's close this. Go back to the home page. Come on now. Started? Yeah. Yeah. It's not quite started yet. There it comes. Sergey says, wow, you're programming C# on Linux? Yes, I am, Sergey. Absolutely. This is called .NET Core. It was designed to be cross-platform, so it works not just on Windows and Linux, but also on the Mac as well. So let's see if we can get our warning message to pop out here. I'll just throw yet on here and click save, and let's see if we can see some messages. All right. Ooh. Let's see what we got here, because wow. Found the following links to create. Signal our page. Okay, so it found it. And here we are now. So I blew up now on my routing. No page named create article from link matches the supplied values. So let's go back over here. Back in my edit. You can run that in Electron as well. I can run that in Electron. How good is the .NET Core platform on Linux? It's very good, Sergey. The performance numbers on Linux indicate that it can the web server itself can return 7 million requests a second in standardized tests. There's performance numbers out there that you can check out. And it's in the top 10, including a bunch of other non-commercial research type of projects. It's in the top 10 web servers that are available, but it is the top commercial web server that you can see out there. Yes. Is it production ready? Absolutely. There's a significant number of folks out there that are using ASP.NET Core on Linux. You've been looking at Electron.net. Yeah, it is not that. Electron.net is not stable. I agree. Coded Beard running .NET Core and Linux containers for ages. Yeah, .NET Core, ASP.NET Core running inside of containers is really good. Let me take a look at this. Create article from link, and I'm passing new ID equals article slug. Well, I added that. Right, I added the page directive for ID here, and it's not. Right? Did I just blow this up here? Let me get rid of that. Right, so I'm on homepage edit. If I refresh, and yes, resend, is it going to route through? So it went to create article from link, but it didn't put the route on the end of it. That's weird. Here's what I'm thinking. Follow me. Let me know if I'm doing this wrong. I'm going to create another page route convention here and kind of force the issue, I think. Let's see what we can get here. No, I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to. Right? Let's see if we can look at the docs. Maybe there's something we're missing here, because I'm trying to use redirect to page. And I feel like redirect to page with route values. Let's see, is there something I'm doing wrong here? Let's look at the docs. Of course. Redirects to the current page. Well, if you don't give it anything. If you pass in an object, redirects with the specified route values. You suggest that I debug it. Okay. All right. Sinad Meskin, I think you might be onto something. Because list of slugs returns... I think this is the wrong one. Because... Let's do that. And let's also put... routing for slug, and then let's put list of slugs item 1. All right, now because I'm running .NET Watch, this should restart for me. Coming up. Imagine running an ASP.NET web page, display it in Electron. You can do desktop applications in C# with web technology without breaking a sweat. Yes, and imagine running Blazer in that. Oh, that is absolutely a progressive web app inside of an Electron application. Yes, yes, yes. I'm going to just back up here, and I should be on the edit page. Yep. I'm going to change this to still. Click save. Bingo! Look at that. So it's now passing question mark ID equals homepage. I'm okay with that. ASP.NET inside an Electron, that's mind-blowing. Yes, absolutely. You never really see slugs coming. They just, bam, slug. Wow, that's amazing. If it's a true PWA, a progressive web app, then Electron isn't needed. No, it's confusing. Would you like to create these articles now? So if I click yes, this should... So it should have created that skeleton article for me. So let me click latest changes. And it didn't. You don't like which approach, Brave Cobra? Blazer slugs to rule them all. Stand by, here comes the blazing slugs. Look out. They're flying by. Electron is fantastic for portability. Yes, it is. So it sure looks like, even though I told it to create this page, it didn't actually create it. I'd also think that, right, I don't... The page not found is supposed to bring up a thing that says, oh, would you like to create this page? Because I have admin, author, and editor role permissions. I should be able to get that page reference to pop up. Ugh. That's a problem. Let's go back one. Now that worked. Is the slug misspelled? No. Check this out. So here's something else. The link is a link to /signalr-page. When I went to... Where was it? There, look. So, if I click on the home page up here, I'm at localhost 8081. And if I click on this, it goes to /signalr-page. If I look at the latest changes and click on home page, it goes to /wiki. Here's where I was trying to avoid that problem with the same page being referenced with multiple different URLs. This shouldn't go here, because now if I click on this, it's going to /wiki/signalar-page. It's going somewhere different. Have a good one, Rambling Geek. Good luck. So the routing is a little screwy here, right? We need to do something to clean that up. Because our pages that we are serving, right? If we look at that configure routing, our details should go to /wiki/that slug. So the fact, right? So now when I click on it, this is what I should actually be getting because the page was not found, right? Or we created our skeleton page wrong. So there's one or two things here that we need to inspect and figure out. Which then also leads to this idea, this problem of when I'm up here at the root, and when I created that link, right, coming back to how do I create links, right? When I edited this page and I keyed in, well, here's the name of my article, Signalar page, that should actually, when it's converted into a link, be /wiki/signalar page. So when we format that markdown, we need to turn that into a route. Wasn't that fixed in the new routing system of 2.2? Give me a little bit of context. Wasn't what fixed? Have a good one, Sinad Maskin. Thanks for joining us. But we're going to figure out what we want to do here. Hey, Tiago. And Lou HGH. Hey, Lou. How you doing there, Lou? Good to see you, Lou. Let's see. Docs, URL helper extensions page. What do we got here? Page handler, route values, blah, 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 blah. Yes, isn't what fixed? What issue are you suggesting is fixed here, Brave Cobra? Help me out. I pay attention to 3 or 4 things here, so sometimes I lose context of a discussion going on in the chat room. But what I'm seeing here is that when you create, right, and this goes back to what we were saying earlier, in that, I don't see Ancient Coder. Oh, there's Ancient Coder. What Ancient Coder was commenting on and saying this might be a good idea is we need to fix how that is prompting us to be able to create a link inside this. There is a new implementation of a routing system. Yes. Should help with I'm not quite sure I understand completely what the enhancements are. If I go over to 2.2 preview 2, yeah. No. You should have more control over how links are created. There was a blog post about it that I could dig up here. Triple Diamonds asks, what would you consider a good machine for developing? Minimum specifications. It was showcased on the community stand-up, yeah. So Triple Diamonds, depends on what you're developing. What are you building web applications? Are you building games? Are you building desktop applications? Are you building mobile apps? Give me a little bit more context so we can structure a recommendation for you. As much RAM as possible and a solid state drive. Well, sure. Probably everything. You're going to be building a little bit of everything, then oh my gosh. A machine you can afford. Well, there's another good recommendation, Ancient Coder. You gotta keep the coins in mind. Got to keep the cash planned. If you're going to be building iOS apps, if you're building apps for mobile devices, iPhones, iPads, then you're going to have to at the minimum consider a Mac. MacBook Pros are kind of the default standard that a lot of professionals that are building apps will go to. Mac Pro, the old trash can, is a bit out of date. Web applications on the Microsoft stack, integrating with a third-party CMS. Okay, now we're talking. I've been a longtime fan of Lenovo. Lenovo makes some great... oh, thank you for the follow, Lou. I appreciate that. And it's good seeing you in the chat room. I've carried a ThinkPad Carbon for a long time. I don't have that right now. I have a Lenovo Yoga that I swear by. It's been tremendous for me. The machine that I use here for desktop development is actually a Dell workstation. 32 gigs on a Lenovo would be fantastic. Yes, I agree. The only reason that I would suggest a Mac is if you're compiling and you want to debug on an Apple mobile device. Yeah, okay, there are Macs online you can hire. Sure. Yoga 910, that's the one that I have, yes. I have the Yoga 910 Special Edition. Right, let me see, right, that's, and it's, that machine is a couple years old now. Right? Yeah. And you can't get the special edition one anymore. They only made 4,000 of them and it's sold out. But it's all USB-C, really thin. It's got this great hinge so you can turn it around backwards. I've got two complaints about it. One, the camera's on the bottom here. That's weird. You can position the screen any way you want, but check out the enter is kind of weird shaped. Oh, this is a different one. This is a different one. This isn't the same one. They've changed that a little bit. The one I have, the enter and the backslash key are right next to each other. I think this one's it. But I do have the special edition that has a glass lid, which is mighty nice. It just looks amazing. No. I don't want to donate. There we go. Yeah, that's a different keyboard. That's not the same keyboard as what I've got. Little Pointer, thanks so much for the follow. Yeah, I have the 910S. It's in my backpack around the corner. But I really enjoy the Lenovo Yoga. But if you're working at a desktop, I would definitely look at a solid workstation with a great video card. How does Overwatch run on my Yoga? It doesn't. It's terrible because it doesn't have a high-end video card. It has a 4K display, but it doesn't have the 1060 video card. So that's what you're trading when you give up that. Apple messed up their laptop keyboards lately. Yes. The Vortex Racer 3 is awesome. That's the same keyboard I have. Robert Tables and I have been discussing this on No Opcat stream. So you may have seen I have this keyboard with the green keys that are being faded out there by my green chroma key. Really great stuff. But I definitely recommend a ThinkPad over a Yoga for professional development. I got the Yoga because it looks great and it had a lot more RAM. But 16 gig, I would say, is not enough. It's not enough if you're going to be running Docker containers and VMs now. Now you're going to want to be looking at 24 or 32. Hey, G Fuel, use a Lenovo X1 Carbon for work. Yeah, love the X1 Carbon. Yep, you will feel it. So this machine that I'm running on has 24 gig of RAM. So You won't be tricked into thinking your code is better than it really is. What is the name of the keyboard? So this is the Vortex Racer 3 that I use. And I have a blog post about it as well. Vortex Racer 3. And it's got these cool little keyboard, little colored keys. Yeah, this is a good place for it. There you go. So it is a little bit expensive, but you will feel the quality. So now this isn't using, this is using DSA keys, right? If you know anything about key height, this is the key height on this. It's a little bit lower, and it's called a DSA height key. It is not an OEM key. So if you want to swap out the keys for some of the custom keys that you see people make out there, it'll be a different height key when you put it on there. Now, I have Cherry MX Blue switches, right? They're different switches for however loud you want to hear it click. So, right, you hear, that's the blue in my keyboard, the blue switches. And if you ask Mrs. C# Fritz, she hates that sound. Hates it. She wishes it would be struck by lightning and die, especially when I'm in the office here coding at night. But having that extra row of function keys and a big escape key is amazing. Yeah. It's, and that's something that I didn't realize how much I missed using laptop keyboards. Function keys and the number keys being the same was really difficult, or having function keys with all those little stupid volume buttons and the brightness buttons, and having to flip-flop between them without a real indicator was a pain in the neck. Now, Surface laptops, Surface Book does have an indicator that'll tell you which function mode you're in, but I still end up fiddling with that stupid FN key to make it work and do all the things, and it annoys the crap out of me. Die in a fire, function key. Had an IBM Type M keyboard. Ooh. Wow. That's a nice keyboard. Yeah. Staccato gunfire. Absolutely. So, all right. We need to fix this routing. So, our links that are being created, that are being generated in our details, if they don't have HTTPS in front of it, should be resolved like this, as a details page that's /wiki/whatever. Dell Optiplex 7050. Can you drop a link in so that our friends can take a look here? I'm going to continue working on the code here if folks want to comment on Triple Diamond's machine request there. So what I want to do to fix this link, to ensure that it routes properly. Hey, Lou. So I'm working on, this is the CoreWiki project. This is a project that, it's a simple content management system that we've been slowly building and adding features to, that adds, that we're using to learn ASP.NET Core. Because it has simple create, read, update, delete functionality around wiki articles, just like you have in Wikipedia. So we're going through and we're learning all the different features, and today we're using ASP.NET Core and C# with Visual Studio Code on Ubuntu. I think we're having an interesting time learning some of the quirks around Linux and how we can work with it. But at the same time, we're seeing that it's a great experience for folks that are used to using C# in the big Visual Studio IDE over on Windows. Anyone code with a Surface Pro or Surface laptop? Yes. Was thinking of getting one, but don't know if it's worth the price. It's expensive. If you want the video card to go with it so you can play Overwatch, going back to the comment earlier, you're going to be spending a little bit of money. It's a very nice device, and you're going to get great support from Microsoft as far as the BIOS and the updates to support the new Windows features. The challenge that I have with the Surface laptop, the Surface Book right now, is that the charger does not charge fast enough. It doesn't output a high enough wattage when you're running in high performance mode. So when you're in high performance mode with your Surface Book 2, you actually are using more power than the power adapter can deliver. And if you're playing Overwatch for an extended period of time, and I particularly chose Overwatch because it pushes a lot of graphics, and you're really stressing that NVIDIA video adapter inside the keyboard, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel that you're losing power. Now, it's not like in 2 hours you're done, but over the course of 8 hours, you're going to lose power. Yes, let's get back to coding. I agree. Do it! Let's get back to it. So we've got a problem here where this is not being routed properly. And I think the skeleton page is not being created properly either. Now, I was looking at and discussing how do we take a look at SQLite database contents on Linux. And I did a little bit of research, and there is a SQLite plugin for VS Code. So I'm going to install this so we can take a look at what was created in our database and actually take a peek at, let's later on the database update, on the Visual Studio update here. But let's take a peek at what's going on inside of our database. So if I go SQLite up here, yes, let's open database. And I'm particularly going to open the content. Where'd it go? Open database. Unable to execute SQLite 3 queries. Change the SQLite. Yeah. What's this say? Change. Come on. I have a feeling. Change the SQLite 3 setting to fix the issue. All right, so there's a setting somewhere we need to fix. Yeah, low disk space. Doesn't matter, it's a VM. So let's go to settings. All right. Extensions. SQLite configuration. Log level, records per page. SQLite 3 commander binaries path. You're kidding, right? SQLite is fantastic. If you get the Surface Pro tablet, you do have to buy the keyboard separately. Yes. I used the Surface Pro tablet with the keyboard for 2 years, and I was so glad to get back to a normal keyboard, let me tell you. But on the road, terrific experience. This... That feels weird. Good luck, Triple Diamonds. I'm not sure what to do with that. And how am I going to be able to... Right. Open database in Explorer. Yeah, go back to wiki content. Yeah, it's like it can't find SQLite 3. All right, so let me go back over to terminal here. Is that something we can just add, right? So if we do sudo apt-get install SQLite 3. Let's see if that just works. Because that'd be really cool if it just did. Hey, maybe it is. Ooh. Well, the Simian, I think it wasn't in my path because I don't have it. Have I tried a window tiling manager before? No, I haven't. Hey, Sweaty Omar, good to see you. And Nak Andrea. Or is it Nak Andrea? Let me know. How's that? How to pronounce that? Let me try. Open database in Explorer. Yep, wiki content. Let's try that one. Okay. Maybe I need to reload. SQLite 3. There we go. That looks like it's working. Exit. Quit. Mother. Help. Well, that's a problem. Okay, that worked. All right, so let me try reloading. Let's see if that'll reload window. SQLite browser. That's not a bad idea. Knack is good. All right. Great to see you, Knack. Thanks for joining us. All right. I'm not going to do that now. Let me try SQLite. Open database in browser. Where'd it go? Open database in browser. There we go. My content. Ooh, look at this. Look. You can't see it. It's behind my head. There's a extra little thing here that says, that's so cool. Can I move that up? There it is. Right? Look at this. I've got a little Explorer doodad here. So there's my wiki content DB. There's articles. Huh? Show table. Yeah, show the table. Show it. Ooh. That's pretty cool. All right, so we tried creating the skeleton, and it didn't actually write the record for that Signal R page for me. That's pretty cool. That's a neat add-in. Now, I thought I saw there was a way to write queries. Okay, so there I can browse and see everything. Neat. Can I just new query? How do I execute? Run query, Control-Shift-Q, all right? Fancy. That's kind of cool. All right. So the article wasn't written into my database when we tried to create that skeleton article for the Signal R. Is the Surface Pro keyboard that bad? No, the Surface... Oh, wait. The Surface Pro keyboard is that keyboard cover. So it's small. It has a little bit of travel. Check it out at your local Microsoft store. Operators are standing by. No? If there is a local Microsoft store or a Best Buy or whatever tech store might be near you, check it out. The covers there takes a little bit to get used to because it does have a very small travel, and I know the Mac Pro keyboards are small. The Surface Go's keyboard would be good. Yeah, oh yeah. So that's the same type of keyboard cover that you have with the Surface Pro. Surface Pro, Surface Go, same type keyboard. I'm going to load up today's G Fuel. I'm finishing off. I'm on the last legs of my fruit punch. I've got just maybe a dozen scoops left here. So I do have a number of singles packs, and I like to save those for when I'm traveling, so that especially when I'm trying to adjust to a new time zone, and I need to stay up late to adjust, particularly when I'm headed to Europe. It's great to have an energy drink, and I was trying to take the 5-hour energy bottles with me when I went to London last time, and trying to get those through, right? Because it's a bottle with a liquid in it. It's a pain in the neck, and it's full of all kinds of sugar and stuff. So last time I took the G Fuel singles packets, right, which is just a little packet full of the mix, right? These things are great, right? So I take these things, and so it's got a little bit of caffeine in it, same amount as a cup of coffee, but all you need is water. You can get water everywhere, and I recommend you use bottled water. If you drink whatever the local water is, there's a chance you're not used to it, whatever is in the local water, and I've seen folks get an upset tummy doing that. So, the Green Apple G Fuel is awesome. You know what? I need to try that one. Pumpkin spice, though. My girl got one. She's selling me the product. Yeah, there you go. Circuit City. Circuit City's not around anymore. Oh, man. All right. And this is their Miami Mornings shaker. There it is. Little G Fuel logo. Thanks so much to those guys. Really great product. And if they're going to be helping us out next week for the Halloween stream. So tune in. You might win some G Fuel. All right. So the create skeleton didn't work, and that's why this page looks really weird to me when I navigated to that SignalR page. So let's go back to this. The page that talks about SignalR, right? It's going to /SignalR-page. That's correct. I should be getting a page not found because it didn't actually create it in the database. Hey, there we go. Make sure you check out what's going on over there on the G Fuel channel. Isn't that just twitch.tv/G Fuel? They're playing games over there. They've got a bunch of different streamers that they have coming through, but I want to make sure that we, the developer community, know about the product. Check it out. I know some of the folks at Microsoft have been doing a little bit more, trying out G Fuel in place of coffee, because in Seattle they drink a lot of coffee. Wikipedia creates a link there to create it. Yeah. So that's the other side of this. And Brave Cobra, I liked what you were saying a little bit earlier, where right now, when you edit and save, if the article doesn't exist, it's right in CoreWiki, we try to create that skeleton. But there's also, like Wikipedia does, if the page doesn't exist, give you an opportunity to create it. So the page not found page should have a thing on it. Hey, Shodan2000, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. Look forward to seeing you in the chat room if you have any questions. There's that page not found. There it is, article not found. This is what it's showing. Right here, it should be showing the create link. Right? Article not found. Right? It's localizing that, and it should show, right? So, which page not found did I get? And this also solves the async issue in the create edit on post we are fighting. You're right. Sergey asks, am I a professional C# developer? Actually, Sergey, I'm on the .NET team at Microsoft. I write C# on a regular basis. I work closely with the team that builds and defines C#. So I'm helping them, and at the same time, I'm working on learning some better practices for how people use the language, getting your feedback, helping them learn how to use it a little bit. And I want to make sure that I share with you some of the new features around the language as well. So that's a perfectly fine question, Sergey, and I don't want you to feel bad about asking it. In fact, if you take a look back in our archives, you'll see some of the members of the C# team, especially Mads Torgerson, has joined us in the past to help us write some of the code here in CoreWiki and some of our other projects to show us some of the latest features of C# and how they can apply to a project like this. And that's something that I really enjoy doing with you, our viewers here, is bringing some of those folks from Microsoft or from the community who are experts in one topic or another, and having them share their expertise with us to learn more around this ongoing project that we now have a vested interest in. So I think it's pretty good. Our current approach will pollute the database with articles that will never be filled in. Yeah, you're right, Brave Cobra. Do I think ASP.NET Core is a good way to learn C#? I do. There's a bunch of different things, right? When you learn C#, there's a bunch of different things that you write once you get past just the basics of block structure, class structure. You need to start learning how to use it to build an application. And I think that's something that's important that ASP.NET can get you into and get you productive correctly. Xamarin developer here. Hey, Astra, is that Astra 6? Welcome. Thanks for joining us. So Phaser, I think it's a good way to learn C#, and a lot of folks are used to doing something like this, here, like we're seeing in this Razor template, where they've interspersed some, maybe it's PHP, or some Ruby with their template, with their HTML they're going to output. So by using in our Razor template, that's the technology we use with ASP.NET Core to format our output by using the @ symbol here, right? And then changing over into some C#, and that's what we do up here. We have @ and then curly braces, and everything inside the curly braces is C# code. You're going to get comfortable with the language, and you're going to use it in places in ways that you're already used to using it. You're already familiar with interspersing your PHP or your Ruby or whatever, your JavaScript, back and forth with HTML. So you can use that same technique here in Razor. So, cool. Thanks so much, Asterisk. Astra6. Great to see you there. Page not found. He is not professional. So here's what I'm thinking. Let me know if I'm wrong here. I think we're showing the wrong page not found. I think it's actually showing this one. The other page not found. Right, I think we're actually showing the wrong page. Even though I've been awake for 32 hours, dude, that's not cool. Yeah, get some rest. Get some rest, my friend. That is way too much. There is 2 page not founds. But I think this comes back to what we were saying earlier. When we look at the URL, did I save this? I thought I saved this. Right, so that's for a 404, it's routing to page not found, and we should probably build this out so we have a better 404 page, right? When I F12 and look at what's coming back on this, this is actually returning a 404 status code along with an error page that's appropriate, that should show us, well, you got here where you shouldn't be. If we went to, right, if I go back and come in this way so I get the /wiki, and I click on that page, now I'm actually routing and trying to find that page. It should say 404 then. Well, should it? Just wanted to say that you're a great speaker, thought, and, well, thank you, Sergey. I appreciate you joining us. I enjoy sharing with you and learning from you. Brave Cobra has certainly taught me a couple things, and some of the other folks here with the way that they've approached design, and they've changed up and interacted with how we build the application have certainly taught me some things too. So we're right. This is collaborative learning. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to suggest anything. If you see something that needs to be fixed, create an issue in the repository, and let's improve it. Right? Let's talk about it, and we'll grow together and make it better. All right. So let's come back over here. So this is properly erroring out. Is that the right word that I want to use? So this is trying to do get slug history with article. Like it actually found something. And this comes back to what Brave Cobra was saying. Do we really want to create these skeleton articles? And I know Robert Tables, you like the use of the term skeleton and how we were building that. But I think we should back off of that. And that will then sometimes leave us with links that go to places that don't exist. But if we make our page that they link to a little bit more robust, so that those folks who do have access to be able to can create those other articles, I think we're okay, and we don't need that create article from links feature. What do you think, chat room? Is that a better approach, how Brave Cobra was suggesting? It's a little bit more like how Wikipedia does it. Sound off. Let me know over there. I'm going to read a couple more comments here. It should say 404. It does in the network tab. Yeah, it does. So maybe we put a 404, HTTP 404 on the page not found 404 error page. It's nice that you're not just streaming, but building community of active learners here. Thank you, Sergey. Yeah. I find, personally, the best way that I learn is by doing. watching somebody's training video, reading a book only goes so far. It's when I put hands to keyboard or mouse and I actually start to write a little bit of code based on what I've learned is when I actually start to grow as a developer, start to really integrate that knowledge and become a little bit more of an expert. If it doesn't exist, maybe return a stub that can be edited, something like that. That's not bad too. Yeah. If we said page not found, create stub. Hey, Jay Rosegart. Yeah, all right, all right. Okay. I think so. So we know what a skeleton article is. So maybe we just mock up that skeleton article so that if the page doesn't exist, we show you what would be a skeleton article. So just need to check one thing here for schedule with Mrs. C# Fritz here today and my next meetings. Oh, all right, good. I have a hard stop in about a half an hour. That's what I do. Watch some Lynda or Pluralsight vids and then make a project to do something using that newfound knowledge. Exactly, Astra6. And what I try and stress and what I try and show you here is that you can only go so far with a Pluralsight or a Lynda video before you start to have questions. Well, how do I do this? Why did you choose to do that? And what I hope you benefit from by joining me here is I'm more than happy to answer your questions. We'll bring on an expert in some technology. We're going to bring on James in a week or two here, and we're going to talk through a Xamarin app. And if you have questions about, how we learned to build that app, some of the different things that we're doing along that process, we should be able to answer and address those along the way. It's all about the doing. You got to hit those bugs. You learn to read logs. Yes. Miss Savage, I just recently started programming. Absolutely love it. That's terrific. I'm glad to see people are interested in watching streams on it. Me too. So I've got to drop a plug here for my other channel that I manage, the Visual Studio channel. So I work for Microsoft. I actually manage the Visual Studio channel. So twitch.tv/Visual Studio. We publish original Microsoft content there, and we also host a number of folks from the community, MVPs, and other Microsoft employees when they do their streams. So if you watch there, if you keep an eye on it, usually throughout the day you'll find somebody who's writing some cool code using a Microsoft tool or product or even the cloud together to build and write some code. Is that a new thing? We started it about a month or two ago. Thanks so much for the follow, Miss Savage and Sergey. I appreciate the follows. Look at that, $39.91, $39.91. Almost there. Do I stick around until we hit 4,000? Do I stick around? But Jay Rosegard, it's something that we're absolutely trying to grow, encourage folks to contribute to. We're trying to get the ASP.NET Community stand-up syndicated there every day that it's on. So it's absolutely something that we want to make sure you have a good experience learning with. Give you that alternate way. People learn in different ways, whether you read tutorials and things online, but videos like this I think are a great resource. All right, let's go back to this and let's take a look back at, do refollows count? No. Sorry. And Robert Tables wants to make alt accounts. Yes, so here comes Robert Tables, Bobby Tables, Rob Tables Jr., Bobby Tables the Third. I'm impressed with VS Code. Just started using it over Vim or NeoVim. Don't think anything would pull me away from the Vim world. There's actually a Vim plugin if you still want to use some of your keystrokes and be able to take advantage of all the cool plugins as well. So here's what I'm going to do. Based on what we were talking about here with Brave Cobra, let's do a quick git status. I think I'm going to nuke the create article from link feature. I think we remove it so that we don't have that constant loop to go back and around. Sure, senior and junior, absolutely, Brave Cobra. Great to have you back, Rambling Geek. Good to have VS Code as well as Vim skills. Sure, Portability, logging into servers, absolutely. VS Code is a little bit to install. Not every server is going to have it. So instead of going and doing this bit here to try and go, get articles to create from query, this is kind of a pain in the neck. I think we need to remove this. Let's get rid of that. So I just did a Control-K-C to comment that out. That's a hotkey to just comment everything. But now I need to get the slug to reroute to the details page. Now when the slug, the logic to define what the slug is, yes, Brave Cobra, we're going to kill some code here. You know how I know how to kill some code?
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Because I've created those skills. I've learned those skills. I learned those skills from watching streams like yours, Jeff. All right. So the details page takes in a slug to route there. The slug is now not being created here on this page. It's actually being created over inside of the application. So I need to somehow get that back. And that's why I included it on get articles to create from article query. I feel like I would need to do another query here based on the article that was just created so I can get it fully hydrated with the information about what that slug is. Now that query should run really fast because it's going to query against it a primary key. The other thing I did, and let me know what you think about this, Brave Cobra, because, like I said, I know you have a vested interest in this. I updated the command result object, and I added to it the concept of an object ID. This way, if you create an object, bring back the primary key for that object so that you can generate that link appropriately. Now, I could return just an object here, and you have to cast it when it comes back. But I thought just returning an object ID would be easy, and then I can decide whether or not I want to follow up and do that. Ask my dog to follow the stream, but all what he is interested in is eating bugs. It is violating a little bit of CQRS principles. We are returning a little bit of a status, but I need to tell you a little bit about what we created, the primary key, so you can reference it, right? If I were to return the object, right, a command should be fire and forget. And for the most part, you are going to fire and forget these types of commands. I wouldn't have a way to query by the topic and get back the name of the article that was created, right? So how do I get that ID coming back so that I know what to present? So what I would do here, right? Last inserted by author. See, that's, I don't know. What I can do is I can do mediator send new get article query, and I can pass in, oh, it wants a string for the slug. I thought that was don't we have a query to get it by ID? Right, new get articles. We need a get article by ID query. So I can get that information. Which async-wise is an issue as well. Well, I'm awaiting it here. So I am waiting for it to come back. Right, I need a new get article query, get article by ID query. Command return values. Oh, is this going to have like a Greg Young going nuts here? Hey, Vision. Oh my gosh. A command can safely return the following data: an execution result, success or failure, error messages in case of failure, aggregates new version number in case of success. Okay. Will dramatically improve the user experience. You don't have to pull an external source for a command execution result. You have it right away. If you want to refresh display data, you can use the aggregates new version to determine whether the view model reflects the executed command or not. A common result object from a command handler containing this information. Jimmy wrote back on this. Throwing an exception, publishing an event, describing, simplify with a common object result. Oh, look at that. Dynamic data coming back. Well, there you go. They're actually returning the object if it was created. I like that. The link above the table in the question. Yeah, the CQRS myths. Right, so this is Jimmy Bogart talking about CQRS myths from 2012. CQRS requires no. Bus queues asynchronous messaging. No. Commands are fire and forget. Not necessarily. Accepting the request should be synchronous. Fulfilling it need not be. Right. In the case where we're doing a create like this, we should return, I should be able to return the primary key on that, and very quickly. Lets you escape consistency problems and eliminate concurrency. No. I don't necessarily, right, for the purposes of modification, when we're doing the update, I agree with you. I don't want to necessarily return the entire object. But in the case where I'm creating something new, right, that is something that we should be able to do synchronously and return that object. But right, so this, thinking. I need some way to return that slug so I know what to paint, where to send you for that page. Look at the first answer. Yes. Right, the first answer says the aggregate's new version number is okay that we can return without violating the principle using a common result object from the command handler. So maybe if I go back to my command result, yep, that is what I'm currently doing. So if I go back to command result, instead of returning object ID, if I just turn this into instead of an int, if I made this a dynamic, then I could return, what if it was a GUID? Yes. So if I make it a dynamic, I know what to expect because I'm the one that created it, and I can cast it and interpret it and use it appropriately. So, thinking that through, this actually might work out a little bit nicer here, looking at what they were saying on Derek Whittaker's object there. Yes, Molly, dynamic. Ooh. C# has a dynamic feature where at runtime it'll figure out the appropriate type. You need to be a little bit careful about how you interact with it. So what I can do for my create new article command, right, this is handled over here in create, not that one. Right, there's create new article command, and then there is the create new article command handler. Right, so down here, we're returning a command result success. So here's where I updated things a little bit, right? Instead of just returning an int object ID, let's pass dynamic object ID, and we'll just let that flow through. So then what I can do, instead of passing new article.id, I can pass new article dot. What do you think, Brave Cobra? Watch out with AutoMapper. Already got it. Is dynamic really the way to go? We'll find out. We'll find out on the next episode of Fritz and Friends. Operators are standing by. So now if I'm returning the slug, so command result will have the slug there. So instead, down here, instead of returning and looking at this thing, I should be able to say command result. No. Command result. That's better. Object ID, which will be a dynamic. There it is, dynamic object ID. But I want to force that to a string. Now, stop that. Really? Really? Well, it was working before. Yeah, right? It's always awesome to watch me multitasking. Thanks so much for stopping by, Guntbert. Let's see if it actually works, Molly. I think we've got this. I think this is what we want it to do. The other place that we were looking at is also in the edit page, right? That's where we're going to really run into this, particularly around the testing that we're doing right now. So here, I already know what the slug is, right? But it might change. So let's get rid of that. No, don't get rid of that. Let's comment it for now. I should just delete it, but I'll just comment it for now. Pardon me. So here we are, mediator send, and it's sending in an edit article command. So let's go look back at edit. I've got too many of these things open, dear Lord. You, close. You too. Edit article command. It's going to be down here. So there's my edit article command. Here's edit article command handler. So here it's doing the update and then return success. So, oh boy. Is the update returning? It's returning only a task. So if the slug changed, slug is a bit of an identifier and it is not immutable. So we do need to be careful, right? It might change here. Hey, Lewis Northmore, thanks for joining us. I appreciate the follow. So I think even if we route to the wrong slug, I think we're okay because it'll go find it in the history and route it. Congratulations on the switch to Ubuntu. Well, I'm not gonna always be over here. We're over here for this month. I think it's fun. I'm thinking doing a generic would probably be better than it would error at compile time. Ubuntu year. Now cut that out. Not yet. Not yet. Chains. Is it just chains with the zeros? How you doing there, Chains? Welcome. I'm going to leave this the way it is over here in the edit and just not do this create article from link. Let's get away from that and see what happens now that we have those updates dialed in. Let's see if it notices. We've secretly replaced Jeff's Folgers crystals with new. Just load the page when you need it. Oh, thanks for the follow, Chains. Is it Ubuntu in a VW? Seems like it with that blue bar on top. I think you mean in a virtual machine. Yes, I've got a little Volkswagen Beetle here that we loaded Ubuntu into. We're going to see how it runs. It is a virtual machine. I am running Hyper-V Vision. Yeah.
Oh my.
That was a typo. All right. Linux for life. Hey, that's fine. For a while, I was a longtime Linux user back in the 90s, running it at school. All right, so let's edit the page. Let's see if we can get it for you to read. All right, let's save, and this should just route back to. Now that's interesting. It went to index. Where did it get index? Linux got much better since. Do tell, it's only been 20 years. Beatles and Slug, a match made in heaven.
Wow.
Wow. That's impressive. Thanks, quoting Mark. I'm not thrilled that it went to /index. That feels like the wrong place to go on the edit. Let's see if we can poke back in there and figure out why it went to the wrong place. I'm not on. I don't need this. I don't need that. Don't need the create. Don't need that. Certainly don't need create article from link. Let's go back to edit. So we're going to slug. We're routing to where slug equals article.slug. Slug equals, well, if the slug is constants homepage slug. Now, why didn't it go the right one? You stuck with it. Oh, that's terrific. So, I mean, for work and for the things that I was doing, I got pulled away because I became a .NET developer. Releases have taken on a much more stable continuum. Yes, they have. You're absolutely right, Stim Unix. And now that there's vested interest in Linux from Oracle and Microsoft and IBM and Google, it's definitely reached a stability that is very comfortable for many folks. So why is it outputting and routing? Well, I have my logger here. Let's log where it thinks it's trying to go. Right? Or maybe did it actually get dumped out into the log? So there's the update. Executed actions /details. No, it's not showing me what the slug was. Let's write it out. Logger, log. Now I will log information. Routing for the slug article.slug. Let's see where that goes. So this is going to restart because I'm doing .NET Watch. Let's see here. Some distros are better than others in light of the amount of bloat they provide. Fedora and CentOS are great. I operate with Arch Linux because it's the closest I can get to LFS. Yeah. As it can with core utilities only. I don't have the time to do Linux from scratch. It's a lot to manage. And as somebody who just wants to get in and be productive, the Simian, I could say the same thing with folks that do CrossFit. So let's get just an update in here and save. All right, so it's going to /Linux. Let's see what it logged here. It didn't log anything. Why didn't it log anything? It should have logged something. Why didn't it log anything? I'm going to be very upset. I'm changing it to a warning so I can find it. Yeah, Molly, you're right. Would it be bad if I were vegan and an Arch Linux user? Not at all. We welcome everybody. So let's try this edit again. All right, come on. I don't care what the change is. I just need a change. Okay. It's still not. I'm still not getting the warning. The log. Right from edit. Had a client, you're editing the homepage. Special case? No, don't think so. Here's what I'm going to do, right? Let's really go after this. I'm going to put a breakpoint right here, and we're going to kick off the debugger, because Visual Studio Code has a debugger. There we go. All right. Loading, loading, loading. Come on. Fantastic. So now the debugger is attached at this point. Oh, 7 more. 7 more to 4,000. Can we do it? Let's see. I'm going to click Edit. There's my reformatting. Come here. Change that. Save. Now I should hit that breakpoint in Visual Studio Code, and we should be able to interpret. There it is. So now if we take a look at our article object. Article man, article man. Here we go. Now look at that. Slug is null. Well, that's a problem. Right, let's... Give me that article object. And let me... Where is it? I thought I could add a watch to it right here. It's in article edit. Right, it should have the slug in it. Vision asks, what is the reason this file is called edit CS and not just edit.cs? That's a standard. Was it on there? Was it add watch? It may not be on the screen. No. Oh, debug, add to watch. There we go. Ta-da. Okay, so now I can take a look at that object. What do we got going on here? Buzz, 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 buzz. Okay. Yeah, this is the view model. So the view model didn't take in that slug, right? And that view model was actually posted back to. So on get, gets the article, it maps it. So it, oh wait, but we posted it back. But it should still be in there. Right? What's in the command object? Come here, you. The command object should also have the slug in it. No, it doesn't. Just the result. Yeah. All right. So the result object here, when the edit happens, we need to return the slug from that. Which feels weird because we know what the slug is because we're already here. So, all right. I clicked stop, so we're out of debug mode. Let me go back over here. Let's go back to the edit command handler. And now see, I'm calling article management service update. I need to get the slug and have it returned because update doesn't return it. Right, if I take a look at this, update just returns a task. If I return a task of type article, I'd be able to inspect it at that point and be able to take appropriate action. So let's do that. And this is article management service. So now the update method in here. Ah, come on, where is it? There it is. Okay. So existing article equals repository get article by ID. Good. So the existing article is a domain article. We incremented the version number. We marked when it was published. And then we published the article edited notification. So now I can return existing article. And that should work. But it might have changed when you changed the title. Yes, that's why we need to get, right, the new slug that's going to be attached on the existing article. So we're going to be returning that up from Article Management Service, which means that it's now here. So if I call it this, what I can do is I can return success, the article.slug. So now I have the slug that triggered it, right? Or the new slug if it was changed because the topic changed. So now in the edit page, when it finished here, instead of going article.slug, I can say result, come here, you, object ID. Result, object ID. That should do it. So if we go back over to here, yep, now let's run it again. Is it mapped correctly? Yeah. The Tall Pants asks, oh, and this is a good question. Do I still deal with imposter syndrome at my level? Well, I'm right about here. Absolutely, I deal with imposter syndrome all the time. I am nothing if not paranoid about what I put forward, what I work on. I've grown a little bit of a thick skin. We are in month 11 of this stream, of this show, and if there's one thing that I've learned, it's how to deal with failure. It's how to deal with mistakes. It's how to rebound appropriately. And how to deal with questions and criticism. You know, Brave Cobra's asking some good questions, but we've had some trolls come in occasionally that have asked and pushed their own agendas. And it's been something that I've learned how to deal with. But I do get imposter syndrome from time to time. Absolutely. It's still routed to index. Why did it route to index? That's the wrong page. But I do absolutely get imposter syndrome, and it's especially going on stage at a conference. Oh my gosh. You're a troll pushing an agenda. Let's all just be nice to each other. Nobody's Pobody's perfect? Yeah, I see what you did there. Index is okay, but it's not going right. The slug that it should be pulling out is right. It should actually be doing that thing here. Let me click the debugger again. Let's take one more look at this. So, imposter syndrome around presenting, around hosting shows like this. How do I feel presenting? People ask me if I get nervous. Yes, every time. Every time. There's when I went on stage at Ignite, I was terrified. There were only 250 people in the room. Only 250 people. But and I say only because I've spoken in front of larger groups. Ah, James with a tier 3. Oh my gosh. Thank you for that kind subscription. We will of course match and make a donation to Girl Develop It. You're going to get the purple coffee mug. There you go. And you get all 3 emotes. And you get my undying thanks. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Get that Microsoft match. Absolutely. Very cool. Thank you so much. It is Give Month, yes, at Microsoft. All right, so the slug is /homepage, so it should be routing then to details with an empty string here. So yeah. Let's see. Just so you can drop my little caricature in there. Absolutely. And you get the C# Super logo as well. So what we're building, Stim Unix, we're building a content management system. We're building a wiki that we can use to learn ASP.NET, C#, various features around the .NET community. So that's what we're working on here. Is it unreasonable to believe I'm not an imposter considering how much I've learned on my self-taught career? I mean, I still haven't gotten my first web dev job, and I don't know 0.001% of what others do, but I don't feel as an imposter on my level. That's great. I feel like an imposter when I do, because I know there are folks that know more than me. Right? The folks who build .NET, when they start getting outside their comfort zone and they talk about some things that they don't necessarily work on, that's when they start to feel imposter syndrome. So this looks like it is routing properly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave this here for right now. There's already a debug configuration. Yeah, I know. Stop. I want to stop. Don't run anymore. I think we've got this running properly for what I need. We still have to fix the link, but I think we're in a much better place than where we were. So what I'm going to do, because it is, we have hit noon, I'm going to wrap up here. And let's commit these changes so that we have at least the page creation working. So let's take a quick git status. Oh yeah, look at all those changes. So let's add this, and I'm going to commit those changes. Started refactoring out the create pages from links. And this should help significantly in our workflow. So I'll push that up. We'll get a build that happens out there. You're suffering from imposter syndrome right now. No, don't force push. Force push is one of the most evil things you could ever do. Don't ever do that. Do it for the love of learning about puzzles and building the pieces. Amen. Yes. So, changelog.js party live stream starting in less than 1 hour if you're into that kind of stuff. Ooh, that sounds neat. Why is force push evil? Asks Maruko. So I'll touch on that briefly and then we'll set up our raid. Force push will overwrite what other things people have written. If it's to a private branch that only you are working on, yeah, you're okay with that. But to a public repository, it's a bad idea. Hey, thanks for the gift there. We're gonna get, and that's a gifted subscription to Quill Codes. Very cool. Thanks, James. All right. Yes, force push can overwrite history. Let's take a quick look at the science and technology folks. Let's see who's running a stream out there we can raid. I thought I saw Code Rushed started. Let's see here. React Native with Mobitar. That's not bad. It looks like Dev Chatter started up also. Pair programming with Guy Royce. Let's do this. Yeah, let's raid Dev Chatter. Oh, Jesse Skinner is. Let's go to Jesse Skinner. We haven't gone to Jesse Skinner. We'll go over to Jesse. So I will raid Jesse Skinner. There you go. And let's let Jesse know we're coming. Flinging. Wow, more. Holy crow. Why didn't I get the notification on that? Thank you so much for that. The gift of the subs there to from James to Program Meta JS, Poetic Android, Lou, EA Johnson, and the Tall Pants. Terrific. It did pop up. I missed it. Thank you so much for the subscriptions there, James. Really appreciate that. Of course, we will match and make donations to Girl Develop It. Very cool stuff. Thank you so much. 81 folks getting ready to go over to Jesse. Take care, everybody. And another, oh my gosh, James. Thank you so much. All right. Listen, everybody. I will have this video archived. It'll be available over there on YouTube a little bit later. Take care. And say hi to Jesse for me. We'll see you.